from your opponent. And why is that so amazing? Well, the huge difference between this card and Mind Vision is that Mind Vision takes it from the hand. This card takes it from the deck. Now, why is that so good? Again, you're getting card advantage, and you're keeping cards in your deck. This card is, I believe, so much better than Arcane Intellect if you have your deck correctly. Now, obviously, you can't play this in a non-priest deck, but you need to have two in this every priest deck, please. 4, Master Spell, silence all minions, draw a card. No. No. Very rarely will you need to silence more than one minion. Too much mana. Maybe in the future expansion where there could be potentially more creatures out there, it will become useful, but in my opinion this card is useless. For 4 mana, it's not worth it. Mind Games. This card could pull some crazy draws. Could get a giant, could get a leopard gnome, kind of look at a draw. Depends, obviously, what your opponent has. Creature heavy decks can have fun with this card, but if you're not really a person that wants to play a game of chance, don't put it in your deck. But this card could potentially pull some amazing cards. I would put one in a deck if you were creature heavy. Shadow Madness. Why is this card good? Well, let me put it this way. Yeah, it is 4 mana. I believe it should be 3, but look at it this way. You could be potentially removing 2 creatures for 4 mana. 2 mana crystals per creature. It does its job. Now, I have not seen much play with this card and against enemy priests, but again, it's another underestimated card, and it would actually be a good alternative to Shadow Word Pain. If you wanted to have 1 Shadow Word Pain and then 2 Shadow Madnesses, that's what I would do. But then again, it costs 4 mana. Just depends on your mana crystal balance. Akani Soul Priest. If your intent is to become a priest burster, this card is amazing. I would advise to have 1 in your deck, just for the simple fact that if you need to turn on, oh my god, burst priest mode, and you're in a turtle priest healing deck, this card can turn that deck around and do what it needs to do. And then you can have it get killed off by attacking into a big guy if you need to heal. Lightspawn. This card is easily the best creature for priest-specific cards. Why is it? Not only is it a 4 mana for a 5/5, this card has just so much potential. Yeah, this card is susceptible to silence. Yes, that sucks, but the likeliness of a player having silence the turn after you play is very unlikely. If it happens, yeah, it's gonna suck, but it's definitely worth it to have it in your deck if you are a creature-heavy deck. Now, you need to have the other cards that I mentioned earlier to make it just even more amazing. You could easily turn this card into a 28 power beast by turn 6 if you play your cards right and you get lucky draws. have 2 in your deck if you tend to have creatures in it. It's 4 mana for a 5/5. You can't beat that. This card should easily be attained. It's common. Come on. Holy Nova. The only real mass removal that Priest has. It's 5 mana for 2 damage. Could be better, but take it as it is that you can actually heal your minions as well. So it's like a double-edged blade. It's not good at removal and it's not good at heals, but it's combines those 2 things at once. Again, situational card. I would only put this card in a enraged type deck. I would not put this in a creature heavy deck that does not have enraged characters, or some kind of crazy spell priest damage deck. 5 mana it's just not worth it. There are other cards that can become more useful to you. Holy Fire. Deal 5 damage. Restore 5 health to your hero. If you're trying to be some sort of crazy spell heavy priest, this card is as close to a fireball as you can get. You know, it's 1 less damage, 2 more mana crystals, but it heals you for 5. So, you know, it delays, and that's what a priest needs to do just as well as a mage. So, you know, it's more of a defense type mechanism and does 2 things. So, a card that does 2 things is always good. Shadow Priest, no. Just no. I've attempted to play this card in several games, and by turn 6, I've had maybe 1 or 2 times where there was a minion out that had 2 attack or less. It's just not worth it anymore. Maybe it'd be good in a future expansion, but as of right now, this card needs to be cost less for it to be good. Temple Enforcer. This card, even without putting it on a light spawn, is amazing. Be able to give a friendly minion plus 3 health. Keep it alive longer. You're able to heal it. Good all around. Always put this in your deck. Prophet Villain. Put it in your deck. Make room for it. This card I've seen some disgusting things done with this card. And the fact that it could double the damage and healing of your spells could easily turn Holy Nova into a Pyroblast. You know what I mean. But yeah, this card can easily turn Holy Nova into a ridiculous card. If you intend on using Holy Nova, you need to have Prophet in your deck. Simple as that. And then lastly, Mind Control. This card used to be good. You used to want to put 2 in your deck when it costed 8. Now that it costs 10, I would advise to only put 1 in your deck. 10 mana. Can't use it till turn 10. It's you think, oh, it's only 2 more turns. Well, that could be a big deal. Turn 8. It's a vital turn. Don't put more than 1 in your deck. Alright, well, that's it for now. I will be coming up with another video for the next class overview. Until then, goodbye. Hello again, Breeder Chair. Gonna go over second class here, as far as my own thought process on the class-specific cards. Priest is actually my favorite. We're gonna go over this now. Circle of Healing. His card is just amazing in the right deck. 0 mana. It's for 4 health heal is just crazy. Just think of the combinations. Wounded Blade Master, healing it up fully right after you play it. This card is insane with Northshire Cleric. Just imagine doing a Holy Wrath. Now, call me crazy if you want, but a Holy Wrath and then Circle of Healing. Just imagine the amount of cards you could be drawing. You have to be careful with what you do though, but this card can have some amazing abilities. Again, have to be very situational. Can't just use this card out of the blue. Silence. 0 mana for silence. No. Just no. Don't put it in your deck. If it was a 1/1 for 0 and it could silence a minion, yeah. But no, it's not worth it. You have other cards that can silence a minion and are a creature as well. This card is just, don't put it in your deck, please. Holy Smite. This card, yeah, it's 1 mana for 2 damage. If your deck is limited on cards that you have, I guess it's good, but if you're trying to build a serious deck, I would have actually advised against putting this in your deck as well. It's just not worth it. 1 mana for 2 damage. I mean, you could put this out for that 1 mana. I'll go over this card after when I get to it. Next card, Inner Fire. Now, this card, situational based, can be very devastating. Cards of high toughness, low attack. This card turns that card into an instant beast. When I go over decks specifically, I will show you how insane this card can be for what I'm going to show you. Mind Vision. Now, this card is severely underrated. Why do I say that? Well, it allows you to draw a card, essentially, but not from your deck. It is making a copy of a card from your opponent's deck. So, this card is actually better than drawing a card. Let me explain why. You only have 30 cards in your deck. Drawing cards from your deck is good, but you're slowly diminishing your deck, and you could potentially turn into a situation where you run out of cards and you're taking damage from not having cards in your deck. Because yes, you will take damage if you do not have cards in your deck if you try to draw a card. Now, this card is amazing for the fact that you can get a cycle card in your hand, and only have to cycle one card for another card. Now, can be very situational. Could get a bad card, could get a good card, but I still think this card is amazing for not being able to have to draw a card from your deck. And it's 1 mana for a card. It's crazy. Power Word Shield. Amazing. I do not care. Again, it's somewhat like Mind Vision, and the fact that it's 1 mana for drawing a card, but also gives a minion 2 health. Now you're thinking, why is 2 health such a big deal? It is a huge deal for a priest deck. In the right deck, this card is amazing. There's just so many combinations you can use with this card. Priests always have some form of creatures in the deck. There's no such thing as a spell heavy deck for a priest. As far as not having to rely, you have to rely on creatures in a priest deck. This card is just amazing in any deck. I would put 2 in every single priest deck. Period. Northshire Cleric. This card is severely overpowered. Again, as I mentioned with Circle of Healing, this card has just so much potential. If you're playing against a priest and this guy gets thrown out, kill it. Because this guy can give the priest an unwhelming amount of card advantage. Just kill it as soon as you get it. But if you have it, try and protect it as best as you can. Use your hero ability to heal it up. Keep it alive as long as you can, because it's just going to give you so much card advantage for 1 mana. This card is just ridiculously overpowered. I would not be surprised if they nerf it in a future path, given it maybe just 2 health instead of 3. That 3 health is just amazing. Divine Spirit. This card in itself is not as good as you think unless you have the right deck for it. Now, let me show you the card that you need to make this card amazing. Light Spawn. This minion's attack is always equals to its health. Let's go over some math. Turn 4, bring out a Light Spawn. Turn 5. Power Word Shield, double health. You just created a 14-14 on turn 5, basically just putting an opponent at half health by a single creature. It's crazy. It's probably going to get dealt with immediately if the guy knows what they're doing, but again, this card is just amazing in certain situations. You need them. It's a combo card. If you don't have the combo for it, don't play it until you have the combo for it. Mind Blast, 5 damage to the face, is again a situational card. Depends upon the type of deck you play. If you're playing a hyper aggressive deck, this card is amazing. 2 mana for 5 damage. You can't get any better than that for 2 mana. For 2 mana. Shadowed Pain, one of the staple removals in a priest class. You need to have 2 in every deck. Obviously, destroy many at 3 attack or less. That's just there's no explanation for that. This card can just so much remove so many creatures. This card is with Shadow or Death. Does have the ultimate flaw where the player knows what they're doing. They're gonna make sure that their creature has 4 attack, and then you gotta deal with that. But again, it forces them to go into a situation where they're gonna make sure that their character does not have less or more than 4 health for these cards not to be viable. It's a pressure situation. Definitely need to be in the deck. Lightwell. This card with the Cleric I mentioned earlier is amazing. Again, it depends on the kind of deck you're playing. Characters with Enrage, amazing. If you're not playing in an Enrage type deck, don't put it in there. But it is 2 mana and it has 5 health. This card can also heal you as well. So again, think of it as more of a defense mechanism than anything. It's 3 health. Just a card by itself, even if it only lasts 1 turn, it still does its job. Shadow or Death. This card. It's not much that needs to be done. Destroy many of have attack of 5 or more. When you're playing a priest deck, if you're playing a priest deck and you know what you're doing, you're going to get into the late game. And this card obviously comes in handy. You'd be crazy not to have 2 in your deck. It's not going to be viable in all situations, but believe me, it's not become useful 90% of the time. And just the ability to destroy an enemy minion with 3 mana crystals, definitely worth it. Thoughtsteel. This card, I believe, is the best drawing card in the game so far. Why is it that I say that? Again, like the previous card I mentioned, Mind Vision. This card copies cards from